Hello and welcome to the Boostara podcast. I am your host, James. On the Boostara podcast, we speak to leaders in business and education and uncover truths and insights from their amazing experiences. At Boostara, we help companies boost growth, cut costs, and gain better business insights by implementing strategic AI solutions. If you would like to learn more about how we can help your business, please type the word growth into the comments below and I'll be sure to reach out. Today, I've got to say, Jared, I think you probably win the award for best, most professional background, which which I think is quite appropriate coming from a recruitment agency. But Jared Black, CEO and founder of Newvine Employment Group. Welcome, Jared.
Thanks so much.
I've got to ask, with the background, where are you calling us from? Because we are quite international.
Yeah, no worries. Fort Lauderdale, Florida. I have my setup here. It's a real background, real setup. Got my, my pictures there. Got my books, my go-to stuff. So I like a nice, clean workspace. Helps me keep a clear mind. So I feel like your workspace needs to also be representative of how you live, how you work, and what makes you more effective, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'd say definitely pertinent to your space, Jared, as well. And I guess for our listeners that are maybe not familiar with yourself, hearing you for the first time, could you give us a bit of an introduction to yourself and your journey to where you are today?
Yeah, sure. So, of course, Jared Black, founder and CEO of Newvine Employment Group. Essentially, Newvine Employment Group is a staffing and recruitment firm, boutique staffing and recruitment firm. We primarily focus on serving SMEs from across a number of different verticals and industries. We do everything from temporary staffing to direct placement recruitment, and as well as a couple of other services in the talent acquisition systems space. Most recently, we've launched our AI model, which is like a partnership of a consultancy of sorts where we build custom talent acquisition systems for our clients. New Unemployment Group, again, like we serve primarily the US market, but we have worked on a couple of global contracts as well.
Amazing. And your sort of history stretches back a little bit in recruitment as well.
Yeah.
Am I right? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, nothing prior to starting New Employment Group. So we started in 2015. Prior to 2015, I actually came from the logistics space. I had no prior knowledge or careers in recruitment or staffing, but I was using staffing. I was using recruitment in my prior career, and I was just not getting a great result. I was working with dozens of different suppliers or vendors in the Miami area, and I was just getting either bad quality candidates, I was getting ignored, I was getting ghosted, I was getting candidates who would show up unprepared for work. And I was just tired of going through that experience. And I was talking to peers in the space, asking them, hey, who are you using? Are you having a good experience? And the more I talked to people in my space, the more I realized that there wasn't really any alternate solution. Everyone was just kind of accustomed and used to using the same players and were getting treated pretty much the same. So I just really believe that hiring should be precise. It should be fast. It should be aligned with business growth and goals. And I just felt that if this is what everyone is experiencing, I can do a much better job. And so that was my aha moment. I went out, decided to start my own staffing firm at that point. Jumped in both feet, really didn't know anything about staffing, but what I knew was like, just don't do that and you should be successful. So that's how I built the company. Started with core values of just service, accountability, innovation, transparency, and deliverability. And so that's what started us. We experienced immediate success just off the back of that. I approached a number of people and peers in my space prior, and I said, hey, this is what I'm doing now. Give me a shot. I won't let you down. And so that's exactly how we started. And those who gave me that opportunity, I never let them down. And we saw immediate success. We grew pretty quickly in the first few years. And then we started to branch off into more executive recruitment and some more traditional headhunting activities. And we started to build off of that as the days grew.
So amazing. And those two words you said, those values, transparency and deliverability, I think those are at least as I see you guys, like really core, and we'll come back to those, I'm sure, at a later point. But
Yeah,
that means ten years, right, from 2015 to now.
correct. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
how have you seen the trends in recruitment change over that time?
Oh man, I mean, just in if we don't if we go back just 2 years, just the changes from 2015 to just 2020 and from 2022, there's been so many shifts, but I'll say significant shifts and changes now. You have shifts on both sides. So from an employer standpoint, leaders are realizing that speed and precision in hiring are now a competitive advantage.
Mm,
Um, they want leaner teams, but higher impact players on those teams. And they're more open than ever to more in tech-enabled solutions. Obviously, with the advancement of AI and different softwares, that's becoming more obvious.
mm,
On the candidate side, we're actually in what I like to call like a loyalty reset. So talent is, I would say, the top talent and A players in their, regardless of the industry, they're all kind of asking the same questions. Does this align with my core values? Will I be challenged? Will I experience growth in this environment with this company?
mm.
And so candidates, top candidates, they have a lot of options and a very short attention span. So if your process is slow, if your talent acquisition process is slow, if it's outdated, if it's generic, if it's not interesting, if you don't offer any competitive advantage in any way, you will lose and you will lose the candidates.
Yeah, that's very interesting. I mean, what would you say for yourself, moving in that period of time? Like, how have
Hmm.
you placed yourself differently? Because I've heard it from a lot of different recruitment companies. They will tend to say the culture fit, that process
Yeah.
of finding the right person, fitting the right employer. That's what makes them that bit different. We ensure culture fit, or we ensure that the candidate sticks. What's
Yeah.
your sort of, I suppose, just to be really direct, what makes you really different?
Yeah, yeah. I get that question a lot because recruitment is a competitive space. There's a lot of people just promising the same thing. So for us, what makes Newvine different is we don't really, most agencies basically just sell resumes, right? So they just say like, I have these candidates, I have this database, I have this pipeline. We don't sell resumes. Well, we build hiring and recruitment systems. So we aren't a resume shop, so to speak. We are a plug and play talent partner. So we come into that mindset thinking like we want to be a true partner to you from a talent acquisition standpoint, however that may be. So whether the companies just want hire, if they need to staff a number of people in a labor capacity, or if they need a whole talent acquisition system, we act as an extension of their TA team and we help them accomplish their goals there. So what makes Vine different? Vine is our AI talent solution. Basically, it's not just a tool, it's not just a software, but we'll build a whole system that covers back-end automation, personalization, and combine that with human expertise from our end. And we leverage AI to do all the heavy lifting, cut through all the noise, filter the right candidates, and just deliver results without any of the mess and overwhelming feeling
Mm,
associated with recruitment.
yeah.
So that's what I like to think makes us different. Now, when I consult with our partners or our clients, I have a methodology that I believe in to that any business can, I guess, employ to hire A player talent or A player employees. And basically, that's just understanding the X factor, nailing the skills match, getting aligned on core values. Then it's personality assessments, making sure that you're plugging in the right people in the right places. And then it's growth potential. And this is like a two-way sync. All of these have to align from the candidate and from the business perspective, and that's where they meet in the middle.
Yeah, that's very nicely said. I mean, would you say then? I mean, AI and the systems play a big part, an important role in your company. It just kind of reminded me of something from my time in Asia, as working with businesses. Um, there was always the saying that for you to be successful against your competitors, and this is just looking at it from you as a recruitment company and other recruitment companies,
Sure.
what you do has to be hard to copy. Shouldn't be simple,
Yeah.
shouldn't be easy. Would you say that what you do is hard to copy. I suppose one thing is implementing AI solutions in the way that you work and you help companies. That's one thing, and maybe they can do that themselves, or other companies that can do that themselves. But is it that simple?
No, definitely not. Like it took years to get to that point. One, I think having the core value of innovation built within our company, we've never come into this with the mindset that we're going to do things the traditional way. I guess ignorance was bliss in a funny kind of way. When we started the company, I didn't know what traditional companies were doing. So I never really believed in that mindset anyway, but I knew that I needed to deliver a result. The result was find a qualified, high-performing employee for my client. And so the mission has always been that. How do we get to that end result? Find an A-player candidate or a highly qualified candidate for as fast as possible, for as little bit as possible, and as efficiently as possible. And that was always the mission. So how do we get there? We're just solving for that. And so technology has always been a part of that equation. I think what we do is very unique. Nobody does, at least that I'm aware of, nobody does all of the service offerings that we offer, staffing, recruitment, and a bit of customization built through AI. And yeah, I don't think anybody can just copy what we're doing. You also have to have technical capacity. So are there people within the organization that understands the technology, that can build the technology, and then deliver on that front as well? And then you also have to have your team that understands that model, that can work within this environment and then deliver as you expect to. So I think in recruitment, you don't see that very often. You might see it in other agencies. You might see it in like maybe lead gen or things like that. However, not in recruitment. It's not very common, and I don't think anyone could just copy it.
Would you say that's a pushback sometimes you get from potential clients or first-time clients, that when they understand that you're using AI in their kind of solution basis more, do you get that pushback? Because I guess for a lot of businesses, some are, adopting. Yes, we gotta. I want to know more about AI. I know nothing. Tell me, use it. Yes. If it gets the
I
results, or
mean,
do you get some that are skeptical, that have the data questions, that look at it from that sort of side of things?
no, not really. We don't see too much pushback. One, because we're not banging the drum that we're an AI company. We are first and foremost a talent acquisition and recruitment company.
Yeah.
So the end goal is, as I mentioned before, to find A-player talent, inject them within our client's organization. Okay. AI is just a tool, right? So it's just, the same thing as if we were a Formula One, race car team. Like we have engineers on our team that are going to help make our car go faster than the other team's car, right? So the concept remains the same. We want to provide this result. Now, however we do that, that's, our competitive advantage. But at the end of the day, I think most people believe that recruiters are just middlemen, where they just basically, you send them a job, they send you resumes. And I think that mindset leads to a very poor outcome. Companies who are looking for a true partner, I think, value what we offer, and there's usually a really great alignment when we find each other.
And that's yeah. I think what you say there about every company, the way that you'll help them get to that end result, it's not a one size fits all. It's going to be different for every single partner that you work with, right? The way that
Yeah,
you
absolutely.
the way that you get them the result, right? It's not going to be. It may be similar for some, but not for all. And you've got to be very, very critical, very creative in your approach, in the way that you're actually going to get them to that end result. And yeah, like you said, AI is just it's just a tool, of which there are.
Hmm.
I heard this on a call the other day, that there are around 40,000 tools in existence at the minute that people have access
So
to,
much
right?
out there.
And it's
So much
growing
noise.
every single day, right?
Yeah.
And I've used this analogy quite a few times, that if you think a business like a house, so you're building a house, you're building your business, you want to grow, right?
Hmm.
You need some tools to build your house, but you
Hmm.
can't just build your house with a hammer or a
Hmm.
saw. You need to use lots of different tools in different ways at different moments of time to help you build that house. There's a structure, there's a system to it, and it depends on the house you're building. It depends on the materials you have available. it's very specific for every
I'll,
single
I'll go a
business.
bit deeper.
Yep.
Let's say you need to build a house and you hire me to build a house, right?
Mm,
So let's just say in that example, you're the hiring business, I'm the recruiter. Now, what I have seen in traditional recruiting firms, there's no visibility. You say, hey, build me a house, but
yeah.
you give me no specs, no requirements, nothing. And I just send you just basically my version of the house. So from our perspective, I want to know, okay, where do you want the rooms to be positioned? Which direction is the door going to be facing? How many rooms do you want? How many stories do you want? How big are these rooms? I'm asking you all these questions and I'm getting involved into, the vision of how you see your house or how you see your business. So I can understand the culture. I can understand what success may look like in your eyes, not just my eyes. So it's funny you brought up that house analogy because I actually used that a little bit earlier today to
Ah,
this exact point.
yeah.
Um, to just basically make that point across that we want to be involved in this process with you. We don't want to just take our interpretation of what this role is or what a candidate may say this role is. It needs
Mm,
to fit the business, right?
And I guess when you start talking with partners as well, sometimes they maybe don't even know what their house looks like. They've got a vague idea that
That's
becomes
exactly
clearer
right.
the deeper that you talk with them.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
What would you say then for a client? They come to you for the very first time. They've never used a recruitment agency before.
hmm
They're completely new to this. What are those kinds of misconceptions that you get from first time clients?
So just as I said before, a lot of people just don't know what a recruiter actually does.
Mm,
To be honest, a real high value recruiter would be a partner for you, meaning be a partner to the business, be a bit of an advocate, maybe give advice, give feedback, market analysis, things like that. I think what companies really need to focus on is someone who understands your business model, someone who understands your culture, as I just mentioned, someone who understands what stage your business is in. There's startups, there's medium-sized businesses, there's growth stage businesses, there's established or enterprise. So they need to understand those factors, and they also understand what a great hire looks like for your culture, for your company. It's different for everybody. It's different for every business, right? So my advice for any company um, who may be considering working with a recruitment partner, be clear on what your success looks like for not only for a placed candidate, but maybe success on what the relationship may look like.
mm,
Don't chase volume. You want to chase the right fit and the right outcomes, right? So I had a client call earlier today. I asked them on this intake call where we get to know what success looks like for that placement. What are the 30, 60, 90-day goals for your placed candidate or for this new position? They had no idea. So they had
mm,
no idea what success would look like for this person within their first 90 days. I said, we need to identify this so that I can make sure that the person I'm bringing into your environment can actually meet that expectation. And then I
mm,
would say just further vet your recruitment partner, just like you would any other vendor. Ask them about your systems or their systems, I should say. Ask them about candidate quality, maybe communication, or accountability or visibility.
Yeah, yeah. And I suppose once you've got a clear picture of exactly what you want, that
Yeah.
you're that what you want that result to be, what you want the impact to be of that new member of staff, that makes the whole process for you a whole lot easier than going forward.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same concept. Why are vision boards effective? Because once you visualize and you put it into actual, you can actually see the outcome that you want to achieve, like whether it's a goal or a house or a home, a car, whatever, that becomes more tangible and then into fruition.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. Jared, I saw on your website something
Mhm.
I'm sure for everyone will catch their eye is your little description where you talk about you guys being disruptors in the space.
Yes.
Yeah, I was hoping, can you elaborate on that? Like, how do you see yourself disrupting recruitment? I guess, how do you see the future of recruitment kind of evolving?
Yeah. So I that's a bit of a loaded question, I guess, depending on where you sit within the space. Um, I personally believe today, um, maybe at least 50% of recruitment firms that exist today will be eliminated in the next 3 to 5 years. Part of that equation is just due to technology. Part of it is just the growing interest from, PE and getting involved in the space. Um, and just maybe like people, in the baby boomer era just are aging out. They, nobody to transition the business to. Maybe they just sell the business. So I just think today we're going to see a very sharp decrease in the number of active recruitment firms over the next 3 to 5 years immediately. Now, when we're talking about technology, that's really where I feel like this is going to edge out, who's a front leader or a front runner in the space or who's a leader in the space. But obviously AI is already reshaping recruitment in real time, but we're just scratching the surface of the capabilities of it.
Mm.
I think the biggest shift in AI in recruitment is basically personalization at scale. Right now, I don't think we're really there yet, but I feel that, I mean, we can already reach hundreds, if not thousands of candidates at a very, very deep level, learn a lot about them using AI, but doing so that actually feels human. So right now, candidates have their antennas up. They're very, I would say, keen to maybe mass messaging or AI messaging or bots or things like that. So sometimes they're very reprehensive to even respond to a genuine message because they think it may be AI generated. But I think as we continue to go down the rabbit hole of AI and what's AI's capability, the next version is AI recruitment at scale that feels incredibly human. So already we're doing a lot with AI, but I think that that's the next level.
Yeah, yeah.
And over time, we'll see, I think, eventually full stack recruitment tech stack powered by AI from sourcing to onboarding. I don't know how far in advance that is. Maybe it's a year, maybe it's 3 years. I don't know. But ultimately, I know this AI won't fully replace recruiters, it will replace inefficient recruiters. I think there's a big consensus on that. Um, if you're not learning AI now, you're just basically making yourself replaceable in the very near future.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Nicely said. And I guess that's you describe yourselves as kind of more boutique, smaller
Hmm.
scale recruiter at the minute, I guess. So does
Hmm.
that mean because the recruitment space is not going to disappear? It's only going to increase. World population increases slightly. The amount of
Yeah.
jobs available, that's not changing. Um, but the capacity, the volume of applicants that recruitment firms can deal with will just increase with AI uptake to take away
Yeah. I mean,
the
I,
ones that
I
don't
just
have
read a
it.
story a couple days ago where they took analysis over the last 2 years. Um, this is private equity firms, and it's basically looking at how much, in terms of output and volume, you have one senior partner supported by four juniors. That was in 2023. The same level of output has been already accomplished from the year 2024 with one senior plus AI. So
Mhm.
what that means is those four junior positions will be eradicated over the next few years. And that's just in the private equity space.
Yeah.
That's not accounting for any other industry that may have a similar type of um, effect. But yeah, I think that ultimately companies need to figure out where where it provides the biggest lever in their business or in their industry, and they need to be looking at how they can integrate AI into their business. And if you ignore it, you're just ignoring the future. I mean, it's the same for any business that 30, 35 years ago might have ignored the internet. Like, hey, we don't need to have a website. We don't need to get on the internet. We don't need to have a Google profile.
Yeah.
These are things that just will come, and you're either not adapting to it or you are.
Yeah. And I mean, needless to say, impact. I mean, you see the impacts. You're adopting. You're probably the biggest adopter I've had on this podcast. Of someone who's just full on, yeah, AI, bring it into my company. But I mean, do you see that maybe the roadblocks in the not the roadblocks in the impact, but the negative impacts that it might have in your space? And I think a lot of people cry out data. Is that something that you're concerned about, worried about, mixing
Um,
AI and customer data or
I mean,
application data.
recruitment firms and staffing firms have always been responsible for data. I don't think that changes very much. I think obviously having a sense of security, privacy, being aware of the importance of protecting people's privacy. I think, yeah, I am a bit concerned about it, but if I had to put a percentage on my concern, maybe 10, 20% the max, I would be more concerned about adopting and adapting to the coming to the changes of staying competitive, staying relevant to the advancements of technology, and then just, the same, like I said, with websites, you need to have a privacy policy on your website. You need to have certain, I would say, securities in terms of logins and credentialing. And when people apply or you're onboarding, you need to have these securities and these I would say, restrictions in place. AI is not going to be any different. So if there's an expansion in use of AI, so will be the expansion in the AI security space or the privacy space or personal information space. So I think that there will be a little bit of a micro market for each one of those things that will help support the entire AI movement, just as it was with the entire internet.
Yeah,
You'll
yeah.
have spamming, you'll have phishing, you'll have all of that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I think you touched upon it a little bit there that you can be either worried about data breaches, the problems of AI, or you can be worried about not growing. As a business owner, which is worse? Well, if you're
Yeah.
not worried about growing, well, then you're not going anywhere. You're just going to be stuck in paralysis. Imagine the internet era and now
Yeah.
being like, well, I can't have a website because of blah 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 blah. No, everyone's got to have a website, and the
Yeah.
same is beginning to be very obvious for people now that they have to have AI. It's not a choice. Whatever you think about it, you just have to adopt.
Yeah, there's a
Um,
great book that I love. It's called Only the Paranoid Survive. And essentially, you need to have a little bit of paranoia about a number of factors, sales, potential risk, and maybe competitors, like whatever it may be. There's always something that you should be fearful of, or I don't want to say fearful, but you need to be a bit aware of so that you can either one, prepare for it or build towards a solution for it. But yeah, I think being a bit paranoid is natural for entrepreneurship. It's natural for business. And yeah, to the concept of that book, like, yeah, if you're not paranoid or you're overly confident about anything, then or overly sure about one way or the other, then
yeah.
you're kind of putting a bullseye on your back.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Final AI question for you,
Yeah.
Jared. For someone who's looked at AI in depth within your company,
Hmm.
what's is there an area within your business that you haven't found an AI solution or you haven't automated that you think would make an impact in your business or in the way that you help clients? Is there something that you found that there isn't an AI automation for?
Um, yeah, there's a lot that I mean isn't that still isn't ready. Like I mentioned before, um, personalization at scale obviously is still not there, but I mean, we want human to human interaction still, so it's not something I'm super worried about. Ultimately, I'm not worried about the advancements. They will come, and as they come, we will adapt and we will reiterate. And I'm never really satisfied with the process. I'm satisfied to a point. For me, it's always about how can the process be improved or how can we um, maybe push the boundaries of what's possible or what the market or the competition is doing. How can we get better and I would say further secure our competitive advantage?
Mm,
But what I would like to achieve is to my vision would be to change the concept of hiring as a whole to go from a reactive concept to maybe more of a proactive function, like sales. If you think about sales, nobody just sits in their store and waits for people to show up.
mm,
Or when they need money, they just start saying, "Hey, we have these items to sell." They are actively and proactively putting out adverts, media, outbound engagement like emails and phone calls to attract customers and buyers. It's the same concept. If we think about it, that's how hiring should be.
Amazing. Yeah, yeah. And well, going into the future, then, I mean, what would you say for you guys? I mean, what does the next kind of year, the next period look like
Mhm.
for New Vine?
Um, Yeah, so for Newvine, we're going to continue on that. Just as I mentioned, like we're going to continue pushing the boundaries in what's possible for recruitment and for, I would say, talent acquisition as a whole. We're furthering our position as a true partnership by obviously making services that maybe one company may offer. We want to try to include all of these things within our umbrella of companies. But next for New Vine, I would say I see Vine being a go-to talent partnership for scaling companies and scaling businesses, not just here in the US, but globally. I really want to help companies realize that hiring isn't luck. It's a system that you own and you
Mm.
can win with if you structure the system correctly.
That's yeah. I think anyone listening, it can't kind of feel like you're in any sort of better or safer hands with your needs than hearing you speak like like that. Like, so you're extremely sure, and I think the way that
Yeah.
you see the market and you see it developing, that's that's testament to yourself and your team and capabilities. I mean, Jared, if anyone wants to reach out to you directly, what's the best contact details to get you on?
Yeah, best way to find me is probably on LinkedIn. Very active on LinkedIn. You can just find me searching Jared Black or Newvine Employment Group on LinkedIn. You can also email me directly, jared@newvinegroup.com. I have social channels, but I'm most active on LinkedIn.
Amazing. Yeah, I'll put those details in the comments below. So yeah, anyone can reach out to you. But absolutely brilliant to have you on, Jared. An absolute pleasure.
Same here. Appreciate it, James. Thanks so
Yeah,
much.
brilliant. And thank you everyone for listening.